and welcome to the Malika Writes channel. My name is Malika and today I want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas. It's been a very tough year for everyone and I'm glad to have made it to the end of the year. Now today I want to talk about the best order to read the Tolkien books. This is my Tolkien collection. It's not all the books in my Tolkien collection, but these are all the books to do with the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And I have them all right here, this entire pile of them all. This is actually my Christmas present, and I wanted to make this video in light of getting this from Mummy and Daddy. Thank you. So yes, I just wanted to talk about the best order to read the books in to get the kind of best understanding and to help any new readers sort of ease themselves into the franchise. So the first book I would recommend starting with is The Hobbit. It's a bit like playing Jenga, getting these books out. So The Hobbit, yes. Now this is the prequel to the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and it features the character of Bilbo Baggins. The films are also on Amazon, I think. You can get the films on Amazon and on Netflix. I think the films are all on Netflix now. So this would be a good starting point because I think the story is very easy to follow and it's not too difficult to read. So obviously after you've read this, the next way to go is definitely the trilogy itself. So starting with the Fellowship of the Rings, which follows Frodo Baggins out of the Shire, into Rivendell, and then on his way to Mordor with just Sam. But I don't want to spoil too much, but this is the first one. This is the second one, The Two Towers, which is all about Isengard, and obviously Sauron's tower as well. And then this is The Return of the King. I won't say too much about this for those who haven't read it, but I think everyone by now should kind of have an idea of what goes on in the last book, as it also goes on in the last movie. But that is the order that these books should be read in. And I think the best place in order to get into these ones is The Hobbit. It gives a really good background to whatever's going on in here. And this will help you understand some of the references in here. So from the trilogy, the next place to go to is the famous Silmarillion. Now this is probably one of my favourite books ever. And as you can see, I have read it a lot. It's a bit worn, so I've definitely read this. I've read this on the train, in the car, everywhere. So this is one of my favourite books. This is basically the background to Middle-earth. This is what came before. This is very detailed, has a lot of stories, very heart-wrenching, and also filled with loads of lovable characters. I think you'll love this book. I know some people have said that they struggle with the names. Personally, I don't think the names are that difficult, but I know that some people have struggled with the names. So in reading The Hobbit, then going through the trilogy, I think it'll get you used to the names and sort of having a large cast of characters thrown at you. So from the Silmarillion, I think because the Silmarillion sometimes proves to be a hard read for some people, I think to ease yourself back into the fun of Tolkien, I would recommend The Adventures of Tom Bombadil. Now these tales also feature in another one of the books that I will be showing you later on, but I think I couldn't resist the pretty cover. I could not resist the pretty cover. It's so pretty, it's gorgeous. And even when you take the cover off, it's still a beautiful book. And even inside, another gorgeous, it's just gorgeous. It's beautiful. I couldn't resist. I had to. So from this book, which I think is quite an easy read and will kind of give you, bring the fun back into it, because the Silmarillion is kind of heavy. Not really in terms of words as well, but it's heavy in subject matter. A lot of it is really tragic. I think this will bring the fun that Tom Bombadil also brought in the first book, which is the Fellowship of the Ring. So these are his sort of tales. The next thing I would recommend after reading the Silmarillion is the unfinished tales of Numenor and Middle-earth. Now this is, I think, a natural sort of second to the Silmarillion. It gives a lot of background and it also helps explain a lot of what goes on in the trilogy. So here we have Aragorn's capture of Gollum, we have the legend of Isildur's death, and a lot of things in here. I don't want to give everything away, but brilliant read. Not as worn as the Silmarillion, but it's getting there. The next thing that I would recommend reading from then is going on to these tales. Let's just get these. Going on to these. So, The Fall of Gondolin and Beren and Luthien and the Children of Húrin. So, our beloved character Turin Turambar from the Silmarillion, we see him here with his dragon helm. I think this is a really good book to read. These were all edited by Christopher Tolkien, so I think these are brilliant. Definitely worth having in your collection as a Tolkien fan. So I think we only have 2 more kind of solid storybooks left before we get into the more essay stuff. Whoops. Here we go. So, The Story of Cuvillero. I think this is a good book. And also, if you kind of want to look at where the character of Turin Turambar sort of sprung from, I think this is a really good book to read. It's one of the sort of outlier stories, so I think it's a good one to save a little bit later, but you can read it earlier if you want. At the end of the day, this is just a sort of suggestion. You can read them in any order that you see fit. After that, I would recommend reading the Tales from the Perilous Realm. Perilous Realm. And this has the Adventures of Tom Bombadil and also Leaf by Niggle, which I really, really loved. I found it so beautiful. I related to it a lot as a writer who is also working on a fantasy world. So I think this is a beautiful book to have in your collection, and it's also a gorgeous book. So definitely worth having in your collection. Now this is Morgoth's Ring. So for those who don't know what Morgoth is, or who Morgoth is, he was Sauron's, who's the antagonist in the trilogy. He is Sauron's master. This is the original bad guy. This is the real bad guy. This is the guy who created the orcs. He's bad news. Some people love him. Don't understand why, but he is bad news. And this kind of goes into detail. This is more the history of Middle-earth. So definitely worth reading if you're a Tolkien fan. Now we kind of move into these beautiful books. These gorgeous, amazing books. Honestly, I'm so excited to read these. And this is the History of Middle-earth, originally 12 volumes, but fitted into 3 books. I'm so looking forward to reading them. Morgoth's Ring is actually part of this, but I didn't know I was going to get this, so I just got that in advance. And I'm still going to keep that, but this is the jewel of my collection. Also, I just wanted to point out, I also have the maps of Middle-earth. Yes. This is a really, really, really good book to have for anybody who is doing a bit of world building, aka me or any fantasy writer. This is a very good and handy tool, and it's brilliant. Honestly, the maps are gorgeous. I'm just going to pick out one to kind of show you. So don't know if you'll be able to see with this light, but that is an example of, yeah, it's brilliant. I was very happy when I got this book. This actually, it was a Christmas present that came a bit early. So yes, this is one of my favorites so far when it comes to books about maps, which are very handy for someone who wants to do fantasy. It's very good to have books that deal with a lot of maps. So this is definitely one to add to your collection, Tolkien fan or not. So that comes to the end of my Tolkien Lord of the Rings sort of collection. I'd say I have a healthy collection. I think I have all the books now. I'll have to double check, but I have all the books. I also have other books by Tolkien and Christopher Tolkien, but since they weren't to do with the Lord of the Rings, I thought I'd just leave them out. But if you're interested, you can always go onto my Instagram, where I will have a complete list of all of the Tolkien books that I own. So that's the end. So before we close, I just wanted to kind of talk about the other presents I got. So this FairFax Favour belt, their brand I really love, and I just wanted to show them to you because they're not sponsoring me, but I really just wanted to sort of show you what they have to offer. So I got this brown belt, bound sort of suede belt. It's very lovely, good quality, and also smells nice, which is always a very good plus to buying something. You don't want it to smell bad. It also comes with this little dust bag. I'm actually keeping it in the box just so I can keep track of it amongst my myriad of things. So let's put that over there. These are my mum's, these boots. However, I saw them and I wanted them. So I'm thinking of convincing her to give them to me, or at least buy my own. But I just wanted to show you what they look like. They're absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. The sewing is actually beautiful as well. It's just a gorgeous boot. And they come in their individual dust bags, so I just wanted to show you guys that so that you guys know what you're buying sort of firsthand, and it gets a pass from me. It's brilliant. I think you get very good value for your money. So let's just put this back. But yes, that's really it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas. It's been a very tough year, but we've just got to keep going as best as we can and learn all the lessons that need to be learnt from this year, which is kind of, you know, keep positive, try and follow the safety rules, and, you know, just find something to do. I think a lot of people in this lockdown and, you know, quarantine period have found a lot of skills, and I hope that that continues. Well, not the lockdown, but I hope that the skill discovery continues into the new year. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share this with anyone who needs the advice for the Tolkien books. Anyone who is kind of interested in reading them, or anyone who you think would be interested in FairFax Favour. So thank you very much for watching. This has been the Malika Writes channel.